Hi everybody, I'm Marcus Bean and I am at our virtual Ludlow Food Festival. Not unfortunately at the castle like we normally are, but I am at the fantastic location of the Redford Barns. As you know, throughout the weekend on social we are doing our virtual food festival. Why are we doing a virtual food festival? Well, because of COVID, we can't run our normal food festival in the Ludlow Castle, which is a real shame. So what we wanted to do was be able to bring you something, a little taste of Ludlow, and get you a bit of an understanding of why Ludlow Food Festival is so important, not only to me, but to other people who are involved in it, but also as well to make you understand why people love Ludlow food. So we're doing our little producer chats here over the fire, and we're bringing in some of the people who have been involved in the festival over the year, but also as well trade at the festival and have a real passion for our fantastic county. So we're going to get started, and without further ado, thank you very much, Peter Cook, for coming to see us. And before you say anything, I mean, I've just spotted all of this bread. I mean, just look at this. We've got sourdough, we've got croissants, we've got all sorts. But tell me about these. I mean, they look a bit special.
These are our cruffins.
Cruffins.
So the flavours change with the season.
Yeah.
We'll be doing chocolate ones. These are strawberry, custard. We'll be doing damson soon. But it's croissant dough, put in a muffin tin, treated like a donut, so it's got the filling inside.
Oh my goodness.
Homemade jam, homemade custard.
That is just so
made
special.
by Clive Davis, well-known ex-chef of Ludlow. And
wow.
They've been phenomenal. The social media thing on these is just insane.
Well, I've seen a few people posting them, but you know, when you realise, I mean,
the
to be fair, when you first said to me it's a croissant dough, that was it. You know, I know that's going to be it's just incredible.
Good stuff.
So you've got obviously some incredible things that you do, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But also as well, you know, you have been involved with Ludlow for a long time, and you've helped in numerous ways. So just tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, I'm going to start you, before we go on to Ludlow, how did you start baking? How did you get into bread?
I trained in hotel and catering management, did that for a few years in London, and then basically I married a baker's daughter.
Okay,
that's
nice,
where it came from. And we moved
Natural
back to Ludlow,
yeah.
to the bakery in Ludlow, and I just started working in the bakery and picked things up from the old guys who worked in there. Wow. And this was back in the days when the bakery was on the other side down Quality Square from where the shop is, and with an old brick oven. Picked it up from there and then developed my own recipes and my own breads.
Your own style.
Got into sourdough.
That's a minefield on its own, the sourdough, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and that's where it went. And once you get the bread bug, there's no going back.
And that was it, yeah. And now you can produce a lot of bread, which we'll talk a little bit more
yeah.
So bread was where you got involved and you started, which is a great journey. Like chefs, obviously, we start doing something and then it develops into something else. And an incredible business that you run now. How did you get involved in Ludlow Food Festival?
When the first food festival, which was a little weekend affair, which they ran in the College Hall and in the square.
Okay.
Before it ever got as far as the castle. They ran a bread trail. The idea was to get people to go, rather than just go to the hall, just go to the festival. They want to get people going around the shops in the town. Because that's why the festival started, is to support the businesses in the town. We had 6 butchers and 4 bakers at the time.
Wow, that's an incredible.
So to get people going around there, that's where the sausage trail started.
Yes.
And the bread trail was the same thing. So you go around the bakers, choose,
nice.
you have your festival loaf, you vote for your favourite one, then they got a winner at the end of it. So they ran this the first year, and it went well. But they said what we really need is a baker's input into this to help us get a handle on what's going on. So they asked me to come onto the committee, so I did. You know, I was involved anyway, I think, with the Chamber of Commerce who were running it at the time. And then it went from there. And then I think within a couple of years it moved into the castle because the numbers were just growing
bigger and bigger.
And then I was sat on the food festival for 20 years, and it's been it was hard work, but it was always fun.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, a lot of people, I think Ludlow Food Festival has become that iconic one. It was the first ever food festival that was created to support local producers, you know, businesses within the town and people sort of, you know, within the counties as well. And I think, you know, when I speak to people always know about Ludlow or they've heard of Ludlow. Things they don't always realise is, one, that it's a not-for-profit organisation, so everything that is made, it goes back into the community, which is so important. And also as well, you know, you're talking about your involvement and your time. All your time is voluntary. Everything you put in is you. So it's not, you know, you're out baking, you're doing that, you're running your own business, you're looking after your own family, and then on top of that, you're then volunteering your time. And that's so important. And I mean, if we couldn't do it without people like yourself.
No, it's not only the committee members, but all the volunteers who steward over the weekend as well.
And
it's a huge effort.
It's a big effort, and I think that also adds on to that element of community spirit and people wanting to support it. And you know, for me, when I first came to Ludlow, it was incredible because you get it. I mean, I knew about it, and as I said earlier, I think people always know about Ludlow. They've heard of it, but they don't understand it. And then when you come as a food writer, as a baker, as a you know, as just a general public, or as someone just as a tourist to the area, you realise how important it is, that food landscape, and you go, I get it, and then you want to come again, and then you want to help out. And I suppose you're then a director and you're involved, and it goes on and on. You know, when you're sort of started off doing the bread, at the same time were you running sort of, you know, a stand as well, selling the bread as well as sort of being a director?
We had a stall on the square on a Sunday, which used to be phenomenal business, absolutely phenomenal. It was always a little bit hard to try and sometimes to pull. On the Saturday was all right when you had people going on the trail, but it was sometimes hard to pull people away from that main thoroughphare, market, castle thing. So we had the stall on the market, and it was phenomenally busy. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the interesting thing is, and I always found it really nice as well, was when, you know, obviously traditionally we've been in the Ludlow Food Festival and in the castle, you know, so you're going into the castle, you've got lots of producers, but not only that, of course, you have got some incredible people on the markets like yourself, and you can wander around the town, and it's always been about that local community where you can link in. So it's a beer trail, it's a sausage trail, it's a bread trail,
and people would come for the weekend from wherever, you know, from away somewhere, and they would then realise that actually Ludlow's a fantastic place anyway, with or without the food festival. But then they would think, okay, we'll come back when there's not 20,000 people here, and it's a bit calmer, and we can enjoy these things a bit. So there was that roll on.
Tourist element.
We would find people coming back for the weekend, and they come up from London and they do the Michelin-star restaurants, and they think, well, we're going to go to the butchers and buy 15 pounds of sausages, and then go to the bakers and buy half a dozen loaves and take it back with us.
I think that's, you know, when you look at sort of, you know, small towns now, and, you know, small even villages now, you know, we've lost a lot of that sort of element of the community, and especially a lot of those artisan producers, the butchers, the bakers, you know, the fishmongers, you know, the fruit and veg man, all those things tend to have sort of filtered out. But Ludlow seems to, you know, obviously everything goes through stages, but you know, it's always seemed to have done that. It's supported. Now, it must, you know, I don't doubt that it's any reason that it is, you know, part of that Ludlow Food Festival community has helped support those things throughout the year.
Absolutely.
And it must bring so much to the town over that period as well. You know, like you say, you know the business because you had a stand there as well. It's that. But it's not just that as well, which is really important. It's that element of collaborations. So, you know, seeing and meeting new people and faces that then actually become potentially the good friends or business associates as well. So, you know, have you had many of that over the years?
Well, I mean, it's easier now with social media and Facebook and Instagram or what have you. But I remember going to Waitrose Small Food Producers Award. I was lucky enough to be a finalist, and I think it was 2005. And it was at Burley at the horse trials. They set up this big marquee with a little showcase of all the producers who were in that finalist. And I think out of, say, a dozen finalists, 8 of them were from Shropshire.
Wow!
And you suddenly realise that it became such a. There was a lot there to begin with, but also with the food festival going on, people now realise actually it's a good place to set up a food business. So people have started up because of the food festival. And you had that collaboration thing. So people that you wouldn't normally see because you're all sat working, you know, all sat in the bakery. Don't really get out very much with no social life whatsoever. You can now meet people at the food festival, get along with them, run events with them. I've done collaborations with Tom Oliver, with Cider and Perry, with Nick at Hobson's, doing recipes for their recipe books using beer. Done demonstrations with various people, and it not only does it help you, but I think it just adds something to the whole event, having those collaborations going on.
I mean, you know, as we said, obviously you've had a great involvement in the festival as well, but you've also been involved with slow food as well, and doing some of those demonstrations. Just tell us a little bit about that if anybody doesn't know.
The slow food Ludlow run these tasting workshops in the castle building itself, not slightly away in a quieter space from the rest of the festival, where you can sit down in this quiet space, almost like a classroom environment, and have sort of 20 people just listening for 3/4 of an hour to a food producer talking about how they make their stuff and what they do and what makes it so special. It's always been an important thing. I've done probably 3 or 4 of these over the years. The most recent one we did last year was with talking about our breads and pastries and what we do, but also trying to bring some other people in. So I did it with 100 House Coffee.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
They're great coffees, and we had some coffees I've never have experienced before, espresso martinis and all that.
Oh wow.
But also with Rob, who works with me in the bakery, him and his wife do a Mexican street food kitchen, and they do pop-up events. So we had fermented cactus.
Wow,
and stuff like this.
Stuff
It was
that
like,
you just be like,
and they're homemade blue corn tortillas and things you wouldn't normally get to try. And you're like, well, how does all this go together?
Yeah.
How can we make these flavours complement each other?
But that's the thing, isn't it? That's the sort of stuff you want, and I think that's the thing that Ludlow has always done. It's created new collaborations, it's created new flavours. But I think also, most importantly, and it did for me, you know, as a chef when I used to come and demonstrate, it sparked an element of creativity in me, because I could wander through the producers, I could wander through the castle, I could wander into the market in the town, and you know, I wouldn't go and someone would say to me, "What are you cooking, Marcus?" I'd go, "Well, I don't know," and they'd be like, "What do you mean you don't know? Like, we need to know what you're cooking just in case." And I was like, "I don't know. I'll decide when I get there." And I might bring like a little bit of rice or something with me or something. But everything else would be either picked, it would be got from one of the producers, it would be, you know, a bit of this, a bit of that, it could be a bit of bread. And I would put it together, and it gave me an element of excitement, because to get quality produce like that all in one place, and also meet the people who are passionate and telling you about it. And like you say, you wouldn't normally necessarily be there, because if you're baking bread, you're normally in the bakery. So to see that, it makes people go, I'm going to push that boundary just that little bit. And that's where it excites me, because you get these incredible collaborations. And I think over the years, you know, for me, Ludlow has always done that. And I think, you know, off the back of that, you know, that's why it's so important. I think that, you know, we do support Ludlow Food Festival. You know, we've got people like Peter who, over the years, have just put all your time and effort, and you do it all voluntary. He doesn't take a wage out of it. He does it on top of running his busy business anyway, which, you know, your busy business at the moment, we were talking about the fantastic Beefy Boys over in Hereford, and you started making those some buns when they started doing the burgers. And how many burger buns are you producing per week now?
We make about 10,000 burger buns a week now.
10,000?
Which is, I never set out to be a burger bun manufacturer, because when we started the business, we went out to likely customers, pubs, restaurants, saying, "Here, here's a box of bread,
have
loads,
a sample,
try these." They said, "That's lovely. What we really want is a really good burger bun. That we can put our gastro burgers, really good burgers in." Okay, so we went away, had to think about it, and then, and be careful what you wish for, because we make 10,000, which is fantastic.
But that's on top of all your other stuff you produce as well. So it is incredible.
Beefy Boys love them, and because the Beefy Boys have been so influential in the burger scene, you know, people, they say,
now everybody
"What
goes,
burger buns are you using?" "Oh, we use Peter Cook."
Peter,
can we have?
So you could be just a burger bun production, and it's collaborations like that that make Ludlow so important. So, on the back of that, we're going to sort of try and wrap this one up and say that it is so important for everybody to support Ludlow Food Festival, because we've got people like Peter, other people involved, we've got volunteers, we've got so many people that are putting their hard work and their time into making Ludlow what it is today. We don't want to lose Ludlow, we don't want to lose it next year. We want to carry on supporting it. We need to raise 40,000 by December to keep us going into next year, to allow us to keep doing the stuff we do. All you need to do is head across to the Ludlow Food Festival website, click on the donate button. There is loads of options to do that. There is loads of stuff going out on social, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those socials that we've got now. Please share it, please spread it, but please support us by helping donate anything you can. And a massive thank you to the fantastic Peter Cook. Make sure to check him out. You've got a website, Peter?
Yeah, petercooksbread.co.uk.
Don't order any burger buns, he's had enough of those. And I'm going to go off and eat this fantastic strawberry custard cruffin. Thank you so much, Peter. And again, please support Ludlow Food Festival so we can carry on doing it and bringing people like Peter to get involved in it. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.